I still don't know how, but somehow 1 million of you watched my shorts about how we were giving medication to our sick mare. And there were so many comments that were so kind, wishing her well and asking how she's doing. So today's video, we're gonna give you the full story. I'm gonna answer some of your comment questions, and I'm gonna tell you how she's doing. So let's go check on her. Excuse me, little duckies. Hi, babe. Good morning. You know it's your medicine time, don't you? Yes. She's due for her medication now, so I'm gonna make our twice-a-day concoction, as you've seen in our shorts video. And she's gonna be in the background, and you're gonna get to see how patient she is not whenever it is time for her to eat her snack. So while I'm doing this, I'm gonna tell you guys the backstory of what happened. So a couple of weeks ago, the only symptom that she was having was urinary incontinence, and that was the clip that you guys saw in the shorts. I will post it here as well. What she was doing was she was just dribbling urine all over herself. Whenever horses normally urinate, they will stretch their legs back and then they'll pee like a gallon. Horses pee a lot. But what she was doing was every few minutes she would just dribble like half a cup at a time. And that is definitely not normal. I saw some comments saying that it looked like she was just in heat. Please, if you guys see your horse doing this, please call the vet. That is definitely not her going into heat. The vet was very concerned. She said urinary incontinence in horses is very rare, and it always means something is wrong. So definitely don't just pass it off as heat. So I'm definitely glad that we called the vet as soon as we did. Other than the urinary incontinence though, she did not have any symptoms. She was still eating fine. She was acting fine. Joys of Azo, you end up with orange fingers. And here is her antibiotic she's on now. It's doxycycline, 5 grams. It is a powder. If you don't open things with a hoof pick, are you even a cowgirl? Well, all right, so there's all the medication, Azo and antibiotics. So we called the vet, they came out and they did a full workup because her presentation was kind of weird. Willow. Some of the possibilities they said for the urinary incontinence, UTI was at the top of both of our lists. That's what I kind of figured it was just from you know, my knowledge as a nurse, but also just from having a UTI myself. That's what I was leaning towards, but she also said it could have been a neurological disorder, it could be cancer, there could be like a sediment buildup in her bladder, it could be Cushing's disease. So there's a couple of possibilities of what could be causing those symptoms. And so they threw everything but the kitchen sink at her. So they did a full workup, they did a rectal exam, they took blood, they took a urine sample. So she didn't have a fever, which was kind of weird. You would expect a fever with infection, but she did not. When the vet left, she said she's still kind of a mystery. She's not really sure what's going on, but the labs would tell us more. And so she told us in the meantime to give her 20 Azo tabs twice a day. That's what these are. So she's been getting 20 in the morning, 20 in the evening. And this is just an analgesic. It just numbs the bladder to hopefully get rid of some of that irritation and that pain that she is experiencing. So that takes us to when we created that shorts. So at that point, we were waiting on the lab results to come back. A common question that I was asked was, why wasn't she started on an antibiotic? And she was. It's just at that point, we were waiting on the labs to come back. One of the labs that they ordered was a urine culture. And essentially what that is they take the urine, they put it in the lab, they encourage whatever microorganisms that are in it to grow. That way they're able to identify what is in the urine, and then they can also identify which antibiotics kill those microorganisms. And that takes several days to get those results back. So that's where we were at the shorts, but we're several days past that now. And so she was started on doxycycline. Her concoction is ready to go. I don't think she can wait any longer, so let's go ahead and give it. Are you going to starve to death if you have to wait 1 more minute? All right, let's go. There you go, baby. Snort at me. So when we got the lab results back, they said everything looked fantastic, actually. They said she's a very healthy horse, which I was very grateful for. I was a little worried with her being 22 years old that she might be having Cushing's. That was another possibility. The only thing was the urine culture came back positive for enterococcus, which would be susceptible to doxycycline. So that's why she got started on doxycycline. She's going to take 5 grams twice a day, and she has to be on that for an entire month. Another common concern that I saw getting asked in the comments of my shorts was me mixing in the applesauce in the cereal into her grain to get her to eat her medication, because you know you're not supposed to have a bunch of sugar when you have a UTI. So in the human medical field, and probably in the veterinary field as well, we would call that RVB, risk versus benefits. And so the benefit of her actually taking her medication and eating all of it and not just picking around it or spitting it out onto the ground, that far outweighs any potential risk she might get from however much sugar is in a handful of cereal and a cup of applesauce. So that's why we are continuing to give her the applesauce in the cereal, because she's very picky. She will not eat that grain if it tastes like that azo and that antibiotic. So, you know, you just got to do what's best for the situation, and what's best for her is for her to actually take her medication and to eat it all without hesitation. So that is why we make our sweet little concoction. You do what you got to do. Let's see, did you eat it all? Good girl, good girl. You're so good. So she has been on the antibiotic now for 4 days. So it's still a little early. The vet wants us to wait about 2 weeks before we see what we want to do next. But I am seeing a little bit of improvement so far, which is good. It's still early. We can't expect a ton of improvement, but definitely the urinary frequency is down. She was urinating every few minutes, and now it's probably every 10 or so. You'll probably see her doing it in this video because she is still having some incontinence of urine, but it is improving. So what we're going to do is we are going to keep an eye on her for the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to call and give an update. And oh, there she goes. And they said that if she is still not doing well at the end of those couple of weeks, they want us to bring her in, and they're going to do an ultrasound of her bladder. Since she is still incontinent, another thing that we've been doing is rinsing her off. I don't know if you can see here, but you can see where the urine is just all over her legs, and she is getting a few spots of urine scald on the insides of her thighs here. So what we're doing is we're rinsing off the urine every day, and then we're applying some diaper rash cream to protect those areas and hopefully get it healed up. If any of you were curious, the vet bill for this incident so far has been $1,000 total. That's for the one vet visit, the labs, and the medication. And that does not include the azo. I think we've probably spent $60 to $70 just in azo from the Dollar General. That stuff is not cheap. And I don't bring up the cost to complain or to grift or anything like that, guys. Our vets are very, very good. I'm not complaining. They're very knowledgeable. I really like our vet. I bring that up because I think there's a lot of people that see cute horse videos on the internet and they think it's all sunshine and roses. And the reality is that horses are very expensive, especially when veterinary care is needed. It's very pricey. And, sorry babe. I know. I really recommend people have a horse emergency fund before you buy a horse, because just over the course of a week, I coughed up over $1,000. So it's not a good time, but that is the reality of horse ownership. You can see how stained her white fetlock is from that azo. That stuff stains everything. All right, and now I'm just gonna add some diaper rash cream on her raw spots. The vet said you could also use petroleum jelly. All right, babe. All right, babe, you've had your morning dose, you've had your bath. You wanna just go hang out in the pasture for a little bit? Let's go for a walk. All right. So we haven't really talked about Willowdene that much in our videos. We've not really had a reason to. She's been pretty healthy up to this point. So I guess we'll end with the video with just a little introduction to her. Come on. Oh, goodness, a big shake. So Willowdene is a 22-year-old standard-bred mare. She did used to race. She, if you saw, I don't know if she was on the right side during the video, she does have a Freeze brand tattoo on her side. We've owned her for 5 or 6 years now. We just bought her from a private owner, and she's meant to be my husband's trail horse. And essentially what happened was we bought her and then I got pregnant. So now she's retired. And are you trying to wipe your face off on me? That's very rude. And so now she's retired and she just hangs out in the pasture all day long and eats and rolls and is just adorable. She is seriously probably the sweetest horse I've ever owned. You can see she just has the kindest eyes, and she's just a sweetheart. So I wish she wasn't so dang tall, because I would trust her to have my son learn to ride on her, but I don't think it's probably a very good idea to put a 3-year-old on a 16 two-hand horse. So we got to get him a pony. Hi, thank you. You just give me a kiss? That was nice. Or did you wipe off your boogers on me? It's all right. So that is the update that I have for you guys today on Willowdene. I will be sure to update with more videos as time goes on. Hopefully the antibiotics in the next couple weeks just totally clear up her symptoms, but I will let you guys know in follow-up videos. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on Willowdene, be sure to subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.